All right, JoeyRitter.com, on Twitter at Joey Ritter. Awesome show to start out 2013. We got Shane Henderson on the show of Shane Henderson and the Future Perfect. Shane, great to have you on.
How's it going?
Really well, really well. Now, you got a new EP coming out tomorrow called Control. And if your video for Wasting Time is any indication, this is going to be a kick-ass EP. I love the video, I love the song, and, you know, so glad you're making new music. So it's great to have you on. And the Future Perfect, actually a great band name. It sucks thinking up new band names. Did it come to you right away, or did you have
Actually,
a lot of?
It's a funny story because I was in Brooklyn hanging out with Brendan Walter, who was the guitar player for Valencia, and I was talking to him about the whole band name situation because I was kind of in like a weird state of mind where I was thinking, I couldn't decide if I wanted to keep the side project name Promise of Redemption or go with a new name. And every single person that we worked with in the past was telling me to come up with a new name. And I was like, but I like the old name. Some people like the old name. I couldn't figure it out. And Brendan was like, I got some good band name ideas for you. So he ran through 5 of them. And the Future Perfect stuck out in my head. I was like, I really like that. And it's, based off, there's a tense in the English language called the Future Perfect tense. So it's based off that.
Okay.
Yeah, we just decided it was new music, it was a new sound, and why not give it a new name?
Sure, no, it's a great name. It's confident but not too confident, and it has your first name along with it. I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's the Future Perfect. So you got 4 songs on this new EP, Control. Was there any strategy to coming out with an EP versus an album?
Yeah, basically I kind of wanted to introduce the band and get new music out there as soon as possible. And I think since I'm doing this DIY, if I were to do a full-length record, it wouldn't be out as soon. So my outlook on it was to just get music out there as soon as we can and, let people know that we're the kind of band that's really just about the music. We're going to continue to write, continue to record, and put out as many songs as we can, and just kind of do it, go into it thinking music first and everything else follows. So we're going to have a full length come out pretty soon. We're aiming to hopefully be in the studio in a few months and crank out a full length and then get that out there and then really focus on touring it and getting out on the road.
Awesome. Now, I got to say, though, as far as an EP is concerned, and I have to use Blink-182 as an example because they just came out with a new EP. So I'm just all about the EPs. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or don't have as much time to absorb, a 14 or 15 song album. But to me, an EP is perfect because I get to just, listen to 4 or 5 songs and just absorb them and just listen to them over and over again. So I'm all about EPs.
Yeah, EPs are cool. I think it's definitely a good way to kind of showcase where you're going musically before you put out a full length and to kind of keep people interested, because full lengths, if you dedicate enough time to them, it's a long process from start to finish until you actually get a physical copy in your hand. It could be over a year sometimes. So an EP, when you think about it, you could put an EP out in 3 months and just kind of let that do the talking for you and say, all right, we have a full length following this, but hey, here's 4 songs to check out. And then, the remainder 7 songs will be out in half a year.
Right.
I think that's what's great about an EP is that it's short, sweet, and you can cram in kind of where you're going musically throughout the 5 songs or 4 songs or however many songs you can put on it.
Right, and you can really do that kind of stuff in the digital age. You really can just kind of release a few songs here, a few songs there, and just kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome what's happened with the ease of putting music up online and selling it online and doing it all yourself. I think that's great. Whereas it used to be impossible to get your stuff on iTunes. You had to submit it to a committee that reviewed it and checked it out, and it was a long process to try and get it on there. And I believe you had to have your own record label, and I think it was a weird number of releases. I forget how many releases it was. It was 100 releases or something that you had to be able to have your label get its discography like up on iTunes, and now they have programs that do it for you. And you throw like $40 up, and then they put the record up on iTunes and all the digital retailers. So the ease of it for a band like us, who's just starting out, even though we've been in the music industry for 8 years and have had distribution companies put out physical copies, it makes it so much better because we can handle all that ourselves. We don't need to go out and find somebody to help us do that. It's all up to us how far we want to take it, which is great. I think that's awesome, and it helps smaller bands out big time.
Can you get the EP anywhere else besides iTunes?
Yeah, you should be able to get it like in almost every digital retailer. I think a big one for us is going to be Bandcamp. We have our Bandcamp set up, and I encourage people to go to Bandcamp a lot because I think it's a great way of finding new artists and new bands that are just, obviously want you to hear their music. So the songs are up there. You can listen to them all for free, and if you like it, you can download it. And they even have a feature which lets you pay more if you really respect the artist and want to contribute to what they're doing. You can say, hey, this is worth more in my eyes because I want to help you do what you love to do.
Right.
Which is great.
Wait, what's that crawling up behind you up there?
Where?
I don't know. I saw like a ferret or something behind you.
I don't know.
No, maybe it's just a glare or something. So you work with guitarist Trevor Leonard, who is a former guest on JoeyRitter.com. Is there any better band member to look to your left or right and see beside you than Trevor?
No, actually, there's not, and I've told him that a million times. It's funny because I grew up like going to Trev's shows when he was in that band Procession Came Opposite, and I always had admired him and was like, dude, when are we gonna play music together? When are we gonna play music together? And finally, like when Valencia went through the hiatus, I asked him, I was like, hey, you want to start a project and like just kind of do it? I have these songs, like I showed him the songs, he kind of put his touch to it, and then next thing you know, we're in a band together.
Right. Well, it's just like when you listen to, I mean, the only song I've heard is Wasting Time, but as soon as it kicks in and his backup vocals come through, it's like, oh, okay, all right, this is awesome now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Trevor fan, so it's great. Now, I'm a little confused because I watched your video. Are you guys both playing guitar?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're not leaving bass out of the equation.
No.
So how does that work?
Well, our bass player, his name is Bean. He lives in Toronto, and basically the project is me, Trev, and Will. On the EP, I played some of the bass, and Trev played some of the bass. So we're just gonna get a touring bass player, but the band is gonna be me, Trev, and Will.
Okay, so when you go out, Trevor and Will do the tours?
Hopefully. I mean, Will's so busy with fun, we might have to find a fill-in drummer until he can actually start touring with us again. But for the most part, it's me, Trev, and Will, and definitely it's just me and Trev. But
right, because I was going to ask about that.
Will is a big part of it. Like he writes all the drum parts, he records all the drum parts. It's just going to be a matter of time until we can actually get him to tour with us.
Right.
And I don't blame him. I mean, fun. They're like
they're no slouch.
Grammys and playing 5,000 cap rooms.
Right.
Good for him.
So that was one of my questions because Trevor's in like 5 bands or something. So I was curious how that was going to work out for you. And even like having a bass player in Toronto, it seems kind of tough. So when you guys get to practice and all that stuff?
Well, Trev and I practice all the time, and we write all the time. And actually, we had Dan, the drummer for Valencia, fill in for Will at the CD release show. So, Trev and I get together quite a bit, but when Bean's in town, we'll get together, or, if we have a show coming up, like we're going to be doing a couple Further Seems Forever shows in February.
Okay.
And so Bean will just, either take the bus or fly down from Toronto like a week before, and we'll just run through the set. I mean, at this point, everybody that I play with is like a competent musician, and I don't have to worry. Like I know that they'll, be able to step up and play their parts without having to go through a million rehearsals. So that's the beauty of playing with good musicians.
Right, that's a big luxury. Now, Valencia is, are they still in hiatus status, or are they done, or what?
Yeah, we're just taking a break. Everybody kind of wanted to do a little bit of a new thing and check out, what else we can do with our lives and see where it goes. And I mean, we all just love playing music together anyways, so it's not done for good by any means, but when we can get back together and make it work, then we will.
All right, well, that's good news. I mean, I don't know if you remember this, but my former band Ritter, we played with you guys really early on when you guys first formed at the Silo nightclub in Reading. And I don't think you guys even had an album out yet, and but I had heard about you guys. There was a good buzz about you guys, and we were a cocky band. We always thought we were better than every band playing, so our attitude was like, all right, let's see what these Valencia guys got. And then you guys went up on stage, and it was just kind of like, okay, whoa, all right. I see why these guys, have a name, growing pretty fast. So that was my first time seeing you guys, and then you guys did a tour or something with Punchline, and I saw you guys again at the North Star Bar, however long it was later, and it was just like hundreds of kids there to see you guys. It was just so cool because you guys, wrote such good songs, and you seem like really cool guys, so it was good to see that progression of how fast you guys grew. Now I know you guys released an album later on, was it Columbia or was it a major label, right?
Yeah, it was Columbia.
But building up your fan base, I mean, that happened way before that, so what do you attribute to how fast Valencia's fan base grew?
I don't know, really, to be honest with you, why, but we were just so blessed that it did happen, and I think really what it came down to was not making yourself above anybody, and just kind of like, realizing how lucky you are that kids are starting to kind of attach themselves to your lyrics or your songs, and stay humble about it, because without them, you'd be nothing. So, like, to us, it was like all about the fans, and making a connection with them, and not just having them be considered fans, but actually friends and family, and like people that you turn to that help you do what you want to do in life, So like for us, it was always going out and talking to the kids and hanging out with the kids, and like, making sure they understand that we appreciate the fact that they're basically like keeping us alive as a band.
Right.
So
Well,
I think that helped a lot. But also, I mean, you can't do anything without songs. It's all about the songs. It's all about the music. I mean, you could have the best look in the world, but you could be a crappy band, and it's like that might get you somewhere. But at the end of the day, it's like if you have songs and you write just based on wanting to do good songs and make good music, then I think you're in a good mindset.
Sure. One thing that I thought, now I don't know if you might scoff at this, but would you say that Valencia was considered the emo category?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that's like a 4-letter word,
yeah.
But we're talking early mid-2000s here, so I think at that time, you were kind of in the same genre as a lot of emo bands. But what was different about you guys and your lead vocals was that it wasn't the same manufactured, like, my heart bleeds for you, that same voice that you hear all the time. Your voice was like kind of the same ilk, but just different enough to stand out. Was there any strategy there in your songwriting, or were you guys just like, what, we're going to write whatever songs we want to write, and we don't care what people classify us as?
Well, as cliche as it might sound, I mean, writing songs was always therapy to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like kind of my way of dealing with whatever was going on in my life at the time. And emo or not, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't consider us emo. I think when you think of emo, you think of like Dashboard Confessional and like, stuff like that. But for us, we just kind of wanted to tell a story and kind of not every lyric was something real. It wasn't anything made up. It was like, whether it was a metaphor describing something that was going on or an actual story, everything was real, and it was our therapy as to what was going on in our lives at that time. So
right, and I think people really can pick up on that. I really feel that lyrics, when they're based on true events, that kind of thing comes across to people and people identify with it, as opposed to just sometimes I'm not going to take anything away from maybe writing snappy lyrics that sound good with the music, because sometimes that's cool too. But certainly, those real stories, I think, come across the best.
Yeah.
So, now, your screen name has NOFX in it. Okay, so I need you to complete a sentence for me. The best NOFX album ever is...
So Long, Thanks for All the Shoes.
Really? All right. I'll give it up for that one. Not what I thought you were going to say, but okay. So to that end, the album that came out before that, Heavy Petting Zoo, were you a fan of that album?
Yeah, I love every NoFX album, to be honest.
Because that
some more than others, but
that was a time period where I was starting to get into NoFX, in between the period of Punk and Drublic and Heavy Petting Zoo. And when Heavy Petting Zoo came out, like, I didn't dislike it, but, Punk and Drublic had just come out before that, and it was just completely different, and I don't think I was, like, intelligent of enough music guy to just wrap my head around it. And then when, So Long, Thanks for All the Shoes came out, it was like, oh, thank God they can, like, just come back and just tear the faces off and just have this kick-ass album. And I don't know, Heavy Petting Zoo kind of scared me a little bit. I think, it took a while to grow on me, but, I definitely think that's a good choice for best album. Yeah, so. Cool. What is one movie that you will never get tired of?
Back to the Future.
Oh, you are my best friend now. I mean, that's, all right, that's my favorite movie of all time, all right? But do you consider the trilogy all one movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so when people say, does it annoy you when people say, I really like Back to the Future except Part 3?
Yeah.
Because
how could you like one but not the other?
Right, and it's like, okay, maybe you didn't care for the last third of the movie, but it's all one movie. I mean, there's just so many things that run together, you know? I mean, I could sit and watch Back to the Future 1 over and over again. It's got everything. It's got sci-fi, action, comedy, love story, everything. So, great answer on that. What was your favorite gym class activity in middle or high school?
Oh, dodgeball. You kidding?
Okay. Now, is that I agree with that. I agree with that. Any special reason? Were you just good at it?
It was just fun. You get to peg the kids you hate the most in class with a big rubber ball.
Now, dodgeball...
chance to get back on the people that pick on you.
Right.
It's great.
Well, I think what was cool about, like, the dodgeball that we played was, like, we kind of combined it with basketball in the sense that the gym was divided up in half and you had, both sides playing, but you could throw the ball, like, to the other basketball net, and then it would free your whole team if you got it in.
Jailbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played that.
That was the shit. I love that.
You'd also throw a ball to the guys that were already pegged and in their, like, end zone area.
Oh, yes.
To them, and they caught it, they could go. They were free.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, like Manayunk, I think, has some kind of league where you can play dodgeball or something. That's something you take for granted as a kid. I'd love to get back in there and play some dodgeball.
Yeah.
But, my favorite activity, because I like to answer my own questions too, was co-ed volleyball. Did you do that?
No.
Did you have a co-ed school, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Did you do anything co-ed in gym class?
Yeah, I mean, dodgeball was co-ed. Everything was co-ed.
Did you lighten up a little bit when you had to...
we did volleyball. I don't know.
Did you lighten up your throws when you had to throw at girls?
Probably.
You had to think about that,
That's the ones I thought were cute.
Right. What is a fear you had as a child that as an adult you think is kind of ridiculous?
I have a fear from childhood that I still have.
Okay.
Spiders.
What is it?
Spiders.
Spiders. Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
Terrified.
I wouldn't call that ridiculous. Maybe like a movie or something you were afraid of that, like, it's just like, I can't believe I was afraid of that. But, all right, we'll accept spiders. Now, you're Philly born and raised, right?
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite Philly sports moment of all time in any of the 4 major sports?
It's a good one. I have a tie.
Okay.
When my dad took me to see the Rangers Flyers conference championship game when they won and went to the Stanley Cup. 97. Yeah, against the Rangers. Then they went to play the Red Wings. That was amazing.
Right.
And also, actually, in college, I sold beer for the Philadelphia Eagles the year in 2004 when they went to the Super Bowl. So that conference championship game was insane.
So did you get to, like, kind of watch the game while you were selling beer?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
The only reason I took the job.
Great answers. You know, again, you know, you didn't stay with the stereotypical when Phillies win the World Series. I mean, you know, I love hearing about the conference.
Oh, that was good, but I was in Dallas, Texas, so that's not a very good.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you weren't in Philly when that happened?
No.
See, I guess it's a tough thing for a touring band at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, we do a final bit here on JoeyRitter.com called Turn It Up or Turn It Off. I simply name you 5 songs. I thought for 2013 I'd have the special effects to play the songs, but I haven't got that up yet. So I'm going to name you 5 songs. You tell me if you turn it up or turn it off.
Okay.
Okay. First song is Too Legit to Quit by MC Hammer.
Turn it up.
Turn it up for sure. I agree with that. Second song, Footloose, Kenny Loggins.
Turn it off.
Turn it off, he says. All right. Virtual Insanity, Jamiroquai.
Turn it up.
Turn it up. Fan, all right. Mid-90s. Maroon 5, This Love.
Now, if you said that other single that they just put out, I'd say Turn It Up, but I think that one, Turn It Off.
Because it's been around for a while, or?
I don't know. I think they have some good songs. They also have some really, really bad ones.
Gotcha. Yeah, they were weird. Like, when they first came out, they were like a band, you know, but I feel that since Adam Levine has been on The Voice, he's kind of become his own thing, and that's what Maroon 5 is now, so I don't know.
I love that Payphone song. Is actually really good.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Last song is We Are Never Getting Back Together, Taylor Swift.
Oh, Turn It Up.
All right.
So
I agree.
Catchy.
A catchy song is a catchy song.
Weakness. It's
all
a
right,
weakness
Shane.
in that Taylor Swift.
I'm very excited for the new EP, Control. Shane Henderson and the Future Perfect. Check them out at Facebook. Is it facebook.com/what?
The Future Perfect Music.
All right. Check out Control coming out tomorrow. Get it on iTunes. Get it on every, where you buy your music. Shane,
Bandcamp.com.
Amazon, you said?
Bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp. All right. Right on. All right, Shane. Thanks so much for doing this.
Cool.
Talk
Thanks.
soon.